Hello, everybody. Welcome to VISL. I am your lead commentator, Elliot Lang, and joining me is Daniel Michelle here for pit reporting and color commentary. We're out here at Homestead Miami Speedway, the Oval. If you saw our support race, Formula America on Forza Motorsport just a short time ago, you'll know to expect some good close racing here, some high speeds, and some big action. Daniel, what are your initial reactions so far to what's going on at Homestead in practice?
It's going to be a really fun race. A lot of draft, really fast, but it's a single lane track, so for the most part, you're going to have everyone trying to fight for one spot. So you're going to see a lot of shuffling, trying to get underneath other cars and try and move their way forward.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a lot of that going on. Yeah, real quickly, a couple of drivers here missing a lot of big names in the championship. Looking at the points before we get started here, looking at the current points, you can see here that Larry Miles' current championship leader, he is here, so he'll extend that lead. Casey Keller, also present in fourth, he might be able to jump up to second with this race. What are your initial reactions here to just the amount of drivers who are not present that are going to be affecting the championships?
Yeah, I think it's inverse to the Cup Series, where the Cup Series goes to a road course, you don't typically see the full field. A lot of drivers struggle on those types of tracks in the Cup car, so they're not going to go up there. But in Indy, it's the opposite. It's more of a road car. More people will show up to a road race than an oval, unfortunately, and that's just the way it is. So people are going to capitalize. You're going to have a lot of cars that don't typically run as well, running better today, and that's going to be good for them.
Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely going to be the case. Definitely helping the current cars. Let me just switch back here to that live feed. Yeah, definitely the car count is going to be slightly affected by the fact that it is an oval. That is always going to be the case here for those ovals. So hoping to maybe see some more for Indy 500. I know we've already gotten 20 signups for that, and the race is still over a month and a half away, so that's always good to see. But just while we have these last couple minutes, let's speak to a driver. First and foremost, let's speak to the one that we mentioned earlier, looking to extend his lead, Larry Miles. Larry, it's Elliot and Daniel up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
So you're the championship leader coming into this race, and your main rivals have chosen not to attend this race, even though they've signed up for the full season. You're probably feeling pretty good about yourself right now, knowing that.
Yeah. Is there a fast repair?
There is a fast repair, yes.
Okay. Well, now I feel even better.
Yeah, now you feel even better about yourself. That's good to hear. Looking on track, Parker Vance in the 2 car, making his first entry in VISL here. He's just barely off you. Is he your main competition here, or who are you seeing as a big rival in this race?
If it's his first race in this car at an oval, he's in for a challenge. This is not like NASCAR.
Yeah, that is always the challenge. I mean, he's running very quickly right now. Always interesting to see. But yeah, who would you consider to be so far your main rival, or is it going to be you're running away from the field and no one's stopping you?
Probably not going to run away, but I feel like I can win. I don't really know how these guys do on oval, so I'm going to find out in the race.
You are. All right. Anything else? Any little things you did special to prepare for this race, or did you do any outside practice sessions, or you just learning the car track combo here in this 30-minute entry practice?
I did an Indy 250 yesterday and got third, so
that's a very helpful thing to learn this car at ovals.
Yeah.
All right, we'll leave you there, and we'll be following you all race long, seeing how you perform, and good luck out there.
All right, thank you. See ya.
That was Larry Miles Larry, mind you, race has done multiple races in the Vantage Pro Series. Daniel, he's beaten you on occasion. He's raced with both of us on occasion. Very talented driver, definitely.
Yeah, he even in the cup starts that he's made, he's always been really fast. He was particularly good this week at Martinsville. Um,
Yeah, he
yeah, he
was
was ahead of me. Qualified first, I believe, and
qualified
I
on
could not
pole.
pass him. Took me a while. He's a really good driver, really clean, and I do think that he is the favorite to win tonight. We'll see what happens later on. It's a long race, so anything can happen. You'll have a few drivers obviously struggle. You might see a few crashes here and there. So we'll see.
Yeah, and with that, folks, we're gonna get started here as we approach the end of practice. We're gonna go live here for the qualifying and race. All right, after that, after the intro, we are here for qualifying and the race at Homestead, Miami. We're looking right now at Jace Mayer, who already has done his first lap, on a second now. Tyler Justice just behind him, 0.02 of a second. Parker Vance just now completing his first lap. Daniel, if you'd like to talk us through here, I know you've done some laps here at Homestead in this car. What are the drivers going to be seeing and feeling?
Well, you're gonna be feeling a tight car for sure. You need to be running that bottom to get the quickest way around. As we see, Gale rolls up to first,
Yeah,
with Tyler Justice in second.
and
Parker
Parker
Vance now in
Vance
the lead.
eclipses that
So,
by 0.02 of a second.
and it seems the track temp is going down. So a lot of these drivers taking advantage of a really cool track, really fast. Once the track starts to heat up, you're gonna see a lot of cars getting more tight, less grip, having a lot harder of a time to get out of the corner, especially in the draft. So these qualifying laps are mostly just flat out pushing the
And
car to the limit, keeping it low, and just sending it.
this is some breaking news here. Rick Raven didn't show up for practice, presumed not to race. He's shown up for qualifying and has put his car on the front row of the grid in second place.
That he has. He only put that lap just now. I believe that was his second lap on. No,
That it
that was his
is.
only lap.
That
He
was his
didn't
only
do.
lap. Tune in for one lap.
Oh no, that was practice. My bad.
That
That
is
was
put.
his second lap. He
That
was
is
able to do it.
Either way. He's put the field on notice here. No practice and going out qualifying, 200ths off pole ahead of his championship rival Larry Miles.
And Larry's fallen all the way down to fifth place. So he's gonna have a bit of cars to pass to try and get back that lead that we saw in practice. We know he has the speed. We saw that he has the ability. So let's see how long it takes for him to do that.
Yeah, no cars currently on grid on the track right now for their qualifying. This is unlike the road courses. This is a solo qualifying, so every car was going at the same time in a shorter session. Only time that will not be the case on an oval is for the Indy 500, where there will be a normal Indy style qualifying where every car has their own track time, so we'll be able to watch all the action of every single lap of every single car. Tune in June 14th if you want to see that. It will be a multi-hour qualifying broadcast for that event. But qualifying here at Homestead is wrapping up. Daniel, I know you did some race laps. You want to talk us through here how like dirty air and fuel will work?
Well, the fuel, you're going to be near flat out for the first part of the run, so you're not going to be seeing many people save unless they're behind other cars. And since this is an oval, you will be behind other cars. So depending on how drivers want to take it, you can probably stretch the fuel to 40 laps, 41. But if you're leading and you're pushing the whole field through, you'll probably be going about 38, 39. Um, it's going to be more on how you're driving the car. The high side is viable to get yourself away from other cars, but you're not going to be faster than anyone up there. It's going to be more about keeping your car clean, keeping your tires nice and cool, and saving that fuel to go as long as you can. It's 160 laps. You're almost guaranteed to pit 3 times. So let's see if you can stretch it a little bit. If we get some odd timing cautions, you might be able to pit an extra time, but save a little fuel for later.
Yeah, that is very, very true. Looking here, coming a little late to the qualifying, we see Gale Rolls, Tyler Justice, third and fourth, fifth and sixth, Mayer, and Miles, Mark and Minnie in seventh, Ben Kuhn in eighth. Everyone's still very, very close to each other here. Ninth, we have Todd Lee Sr., P10 rounding out. We have Casey Keller with Parker Vance and Rick Raven leading the field away once we get this race underway. Parker Vance never won a race in the Pro Series. He's a Pro Series regular, Truck Series regular. What is your reaction here to getting pole? Very surprising.
I think it's great. I mean, he's always had some pace on ovals. He wasn't the fastest, and he wasn't necessarily winning speed every week, but he does know what he's doing on ovals. He tends to get involved in a few incidents, but for the most part, he has the speed, and right here he shows it, and hopefully he's able to capitalize on it. He might have to get used to the car. This is his first Indy outing, but we'll see. It's a really good start, and hopefully it's a really good finish for him.
Yeah, we're live on him right now, looking as he leads this field away. It's going to be a side-by-side start here. All restarts will be single file, though. He's right behind that pace car. Rick Raven pulls up alongside him now. You can see here, trying to just stay in second gear, holding it behind the pace car. It's going to be very interesting to see what it's like for them. 10 cars on the grid. It's 10 possible winners here. Everyone very close. Everyone within 0.17 seconds of the leader in qualifying. Now, pace car is in. And we are green here in Miami for Vantage Indy Special League Round 4. Gale Rolls already on the inside. Parker Vance, terrible start. He's way down. Looking here on Tyler Justice. Jumps up to second. Rick Raven's pulled away very nicely. So he rolls right behind him. Vance now getting that draft. That's going to allow him to catch up. We're side by side here. First lap already done. Rick Raven leads the field away. Very, very interesting to see Todd Lee Sr. is still in the back there, but he is keeping pace with the rest of the field. Tuning in here to Vance. Pole sitter, he fell to 4th immediately. Now we're seeing Lee catching up to Casey Keller there in the 71 and making that pass. Already you're starting to see that dirty air play a role in this race. It's very bad out there, Daniel. I know you can attest to that.
Yes, it's very, very strong. It affects the car very badly. But you're seeing a lot of cars making passes around the outside, trying to use different lanes, using what little air they get on their front end to try and just make a pass around the outside. And Parker Vance back up to 3rd. You got Larry Miles passing Gale Rolls up to 4th. You got Marco Mini up to 6th. And that was Ben Kuhn earlier that I mentioned, who got into the wall on the outside on lap 1, but he's managed to stabilize that car. He's back in 8th. But fastest lap, 25.7, Rick Raven. And it looks like he's only going faster. He's just putting down heaters of laps. Making sure that he's able to keep himself ahead.
Yeah, Rick Raven already got over a second gap there to 2nd place. That being Tyler Justice, also NASCAR driver. He has over a second gap to 3rd Cup Series driver, Parker Vance. And then finally we get to another Cup Series driver, Larry Miles. All regulars here, all members except for Rick Raven in the Vantage Pro Series. So 2nd through 4th, all Pro Series regulars. And they have really shown how that experience helps even in this open wheel style car. As we see Vance being passed up by Miles.
Yeah, around the outside, like I said, he's trying to get that air on the front end, get the car more stable. Just put the car where other people aren't. So he's got about a 1.5 second gap between him and the next car, so he's going to be running his fastest laps going down to the bottom, trying to catch. But Rick Raven's just going to be maintaining his car, making sure that he's not overdriving it. He's got Tyler Justice a 1.5 seconds just about behind, so...
Yeah, we're on board right now with Parker Vance, and you can see the speed. He's at 210 right now, and he has to lift off because of that dirty air. Barely up, and he's losing time right now. 2 miles, already 0.8 miles has pulled away. You can see that IndyCar experience, though, still really helping with the NASCAR drivers struggling unless they already have this experience. Mark Mini having a currently in 5th position. You can see here he's not really shown top 5 pace, especially in the practice sessions. He's currently in 5th, hunting down Parker Vance, who I think is just his unfamiliarity with the car is really costing him in the race.
Yeah, that it is. And behind Marco Mini is actually Ben Kuhn. Ben Kuhn is past Gale Rolls. Gale Rolls has fallen back to 7th place. And Ben is catching Marco Mini and Vance, so we'll see how that goes. It looks like Ben might be the 4th fastest car in the field, but we'll see.
That is definitely on the table as you see Rolls trying the outside line, trying to stay ahead of his teammate Jace Mayer. Both rodent racing cars fighting right now for 7th and 8th on track. Go ahead.
Larry Miles is the fastest car on track. He's been putting on the fastest laps, and he's catching Tyler Justice at the moment. Rick Raven 2nd, but Marco Mini is 4th fastest, with Ben Kuhn in 5th. And it's just swapping right now.
As we see Marco Mini make the pass on Vance, or he's still making that pass. Vance on the bottom, just with the less preferred line in these cars, has to concede that position. Marco Mini making moves up the grid. He's gained a lot of positions here. But yeah, on the situation with Larry Miles, said he thought he would win when pull away. He's currently not even in 2nd behind surprise entrant Rick Raven. He's trying to hunt down Tyler Justice right now, but so far he's only 0.5 second back, closing in very rapidly, but he still has the art of passing him, and Justice has shown a lot of pace on the ovals. You've raced also with Tyler in the Vantage Pro Series. You might not have had as many experiences with him wheel to wheel, but yeah, if you have any insight on how he races, now's the time.
Yeah, Tyler's clean. He's a good driver. Not necessarily the fastest, and I don't typically race around him often, but the times that I have, he's made it pretty difficult to pass, but he's not hindering other drivers. He's just that fast. He has that pace, and like you said, it's a lot harder to pass a car than to catch him. So
yeah, and especially
you
with
gotta work
these
on that.
aero-dependent cars, unlike the Cup cars, which are more tire-dependent, these are very much aero-dependent. The dirty air playing a big factor here. As we can see, Larry Miles on the bottom, trying to get some of that clean air. Right on the back here, he's going to the outside of the track. Still no crossover yet for him there. We now look on board. Once again, holding that outside right up to the wall there, mere inches. He's hoping to get the exit, get some of that draft. Closing up big time there, 2:12 before having to lift off for the corner. Taking back to that gyro cam. Now it's a matter of hundredths. He looks to the inside. And he's already got the clearance. He now needs to cover off there from Justice, who's going to have the run on the exit. With that higher exit there, he chooses to cover the inside as we see Justice gets that crossover. That's going to hurt him because he can't turn in as much. Larry Miles taking second place, but that cost him a lot of time to lead Rick Raven. He now has to close in 3 seconds. As, wait a minute, Justice still trying to fight for it. He now has the inside. On exit, it's a drag race. Miles currently winning that drag race being on the outside, but he also is having to hold that outside in the corners, which, as Daniel, you can attest to, is much less preferred than the normal way through.
Yes, you're going to be eating up those tires. You're pushing the car a little bit harder than it would like. Hugging that bottom. It's a little better on the tires. Not as good, especially when you're pushing it like Tyler Justice is, but Larry just needs to lock in, focus on getting the car just clear, and he has been. So if he continues doing this, he should be all right. Unfortunately, Rick Raven's putting significantly faster laps than he is, and they're just going to be stalling each other out right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Rick Raven putting in the laps. Miles and Justice are going to need to work together in order to bridge that gap in a timely manner, or else they're going to have to wait for the pit stops. Rick Raven has so far led at least one lap in every single VISL race, however, has never actually won one due to some mistake from him or a driver around him. Can he change that here today? We still have 139 laps left in this race for something to happen to him. But as of right now, things are staying clean. He has no car around him, front or back. He's not approaching any lap traffic just yet. And his 2 biggest challengers for this win are currently side by side behind him.
Well, unfortunately for Rick, he's starting to slow down the pace, so I'm not sure if that's a tire saving thing or fuel saving or some sort of strategy on his end, but the lap times are not going faster anymore, and Tyler Justice has gotten by Larry Miles again, so we'll see what happens here. Tyler might have more speed at the moment, and they may be catching. However, there is a battle going on right now in 5th place. Parker Vance is about to get passed by Ben Kuhn, currently battling.
The GRC teammates
Jace Meyer there too,
battling side by side for it. Still side by side. Kuhn with the advantage. Parker Vance, your pulse hitter, has been falling back significantly. Choosing to hang back on his teammate. Trying to, I think, catch up to Matthias Marcamini there in the Horsepower Hill machine. Marcamini teammates with Larry Miles. Very interesting to see there. As you mentioned, though, Rolls and Mayer, the two rodent racing cars, as we see Rolls brushing that wall there on corner entry. Very interesting to see.
You want to be careful with these cars. They're not very tanky. You touch that wall a little bit too much, it's not going to like it. As they get into the wall again, middle of 3 and 4.
Yeah,
it's not
Rolls,
what you want to do in an Indy car.
Yeah, scraping that car, putting it at risk, especially messing with that front wing, potentially could be causing some bigger issues for him here further down the line. Justice and Miles, an update on that. They've spread out significantly. Gaps now 1.4 seconds. Justice with the advantage. Justice though, closing in a second. Justice just closed in since we last looked, closing a second on Rick Raven.
Rick Raven's been putting down some 26.6s, 26.7s, 26.8s. Meanwhile, Tyler Justice put down a 26.4, 26.3, and another 26.4 to get it himself way closer. And
yeah,
he is just continuously eating away at this lead. Rick Raven just put down a 27 flat.
There's got to be fuel saving. Rick Raven entered turn 1 at 202, which is very far down, currently going 205, lifting off early. He enters that corner at 205. Justice, same thing. I think there's some big fuel saving going on, because these drivers can run at least 2 seconds quicker, or the tires might already be falling off. Yeah, Tyler Justice this lap entering in at 207. Gap's now a second and a half to Rick Raven. I think Rick is playing that strategy game. Here, let's tune in on his gyro cam here, seeing how he's running. Yeah, he's shifting down to 4th gear mid-corner, slowing the car down, saving that tire.
You might be saving the tire, but you're not saving fuel going into 4th. So he's got to be aware of that. There is the trade-off. You downshift and put your car into the lower gear, you're going to be high RPMs, you're going to still be burning that fuel because the engine's still working hard. So what it looks to me is like he has no turn. He is really fighting that car to keep that car low. He is just unable to hit the bottom. He's pushing the car as hard as he can, and it's just not cooperating.
Yeah, you're definitely seeing that from him there. He might have overdriven it there, trying to pull that 3-second gap. As now Tyler Justice, gap is within a second. He's also downshifting to 4th in the corners. Oh, Parker Vance electing to pit. No damage from him. Could he be making an early pit stop?
Possible. Odd strategy. You're not really in a good position here in the pit right now. But
looking at him here, getting new tires. Car is in the air. He drives away, making a tire stop.
Very interesting decision. He will cycle near the front if these leaders stay out for the full fuel run. He'll probably be around back to 4th place, maybe.
Yeah, as we mentioned in the pre-show, right around 39 to 40 laps of fuel. There are currently 33 laps into this event. So, yeah, we are approaching time for the pit stops in the next couple laps. Parker Vance electing to make that undercut. But if you can see in the background
here, confirmed. Pitting off turn 3.
Todd Lee, race director there, reminding drivers about the pit entry location off of turn 3. Tyler Justice within half a second, though, of Rick Raven in the lead.
Yes, and as a driver, when you see a car ahead of you that is struggling as hard as Rick Raven's car is struggling, you're starting to push. This is my chance. I am going to get by. This is where I'm going to pass him. And he's already side by side with him going into start-finish. Going into 1, he's going to be even with him. He's going to make that pass pretty easily.
He's going to need to go up to cover him there, which he does. Rick Raven, is he going to fight it? He's going back to the inside. Way down to that bottom line.
I like the move from Rick, but he does not have the tires to keep that.
Yeah, that is very true. That inside, though, is better, as you mentioned, for the tires, but he's electing to go to the outside here for this corner. He has no turn, and that car is so tight he can't make it down to that inside, so he's choosing to go for the second fastest line, which is that high side.
Don't look now, but Tyler Justice and Rick Raven having been battling, Larry Miles has caught up by a second. He's now 2 seconds back of Tyler Justice, who's now the leader. But Rick Raven's still losing time. Larry Miles is catching Rick Raven. So, the championship points, this is a big battle for that.
Yeah, and looking at the speeds there, mid-corner, Rick Raven going 186. Let's follow Larry Miles into this next corner, into turn 1 here. Turn 1 is the faster corner generally than turn 3 and 4. See if there's any speed difference. Yep, just a slightly faster, right around 190 for Larry Miles. Rick Raven, I'm thinking his tires are just going way down.
As he comes to pit.
Yeah, Rick Raven
pit tonight
in the pit lane. He's going to have a good stop here. Let's follow along with that.
While you're on that, Marco Mini is catching Larry Miles. He's actually the second fastest car who hasn't pit.
Very true. Marco Mini now with an 8/10. The Horsepower Hill teammates could be looking up for a battle very soon.
Larry Miles has now come in. So that leaves Justice, Marco Mini, and Gale Rolls as cars that haven't come in. Ben Kuhn is coming in.
Rick Raven with a good stop here. Stays ahead of Vance. Vance not firing up those tires as much as he probably would have wanted to, going for the undercut. Yep. See Miles all in the pits now.
Your leader is coming in now.
Yeah, leader is in the pits. Tyler Justice. That means Marco Mini inherits the lead of this race. This is the first time he has ever led a race in the Vantage Indy Special League. Miles exiting the pits ahead of Rick Raven. Larry Miles has gone the jump on Rick Raven, but not just yet, because Rick Raven on those lap older tires able to get around him right on pit exit. He's going to have to really try and close in. Parker Vance jumping Ben Kuhn in the pits as we see Keller, Lee, Marco Mini also electing to pit. So that just leaves Vance out on the newer tires, lead lap. Kuhn out. Every driver so far has pit as we see Marco Mini and Mayer in the pits. Marco Mini stopped still. This could be hurting him. Rolls, Mayer. Marco Mini still left pit in the pit lane currently. We see Rick Raven retakes back that lead, and he's on fresh tires, which he used to his big advantage there, gaining a 3-second gap before his tires fell away, and he lost all that. Now here's the question. Everyone's sort of settled in now. Can Miles and Justice do what they did just a short couple laps ago?
Well, it looks to me like Larry Miles has gained a significant portion back from Rick Raven, but unfortunately Tyler Justice had a very unfortunate stop, lost a lot of time, 3 seconds back from Miles, or 3 seconds back from Raven, 2 seconds back from Miles. We'll see how he's able to bounce back. It should be alright. But unfortunate pit stop for Gale Rolls. They acquired a penalty and they were stuck in the pit lane. They're 2 laps down currently, and Ben Kuhn is 1. So
yeah, they did. Rolls and Kuhn lap down. Kuhn just got lapped on screen. Rolls falling his second lap down on screen. And Rick Raven approaching another pack. That's Casey Keller and Todd Lee a bit ahead of him. We see here some wall contact there. That was probably Lee. All cars still remaining in this race. No crashes as of yet. 45 laps into the event. This is going to really help Rick Raven, actually, and really hurt Larry Miles and Tyler Justice, because Raven is getting some of that slipstream, which can really help on the main straights here. Looking at his speed there next to his name. Electing to hang back 207 into turn 1. But in turn 1, he's holding at a 195 miles an hour. You can see those new tires really helping. 212, 213. Entering turn 3 in 214, 213 miles an hour.
Well, an interesting thing to note is that the track has been raising its temperature considerably. We are currently at 112 Fahrenheit track temp. So the car is not handling like it did at the start. You could absolutely fly on the old tire or on the new tires on the first set, putting down 25s. Currently, these drivers are putting down 26s on new tires. So the speed isn't necessarily there on the new tires compared to before. However, the grip level is what a lot of these drivers are really enjoying on these fresh tires. You're not flying up the track, you're able to keep the car low when you want it low, and these drivers are going to be capitalizing on it. Rick Raven unfortunately got stuck running the high side behind a lap car, so he lost about a second on Tyler Justice. Tyler Justice is now 1.5 back and still gaining. He's putting down some of the fastest laps. Larry Miles is a second and 2/10 behind, and these guys are just running the bottom. They're not searching around. They're not trying to mess with their tires. They're just running their line and gradually gaining time, because Rick unfortunately has been just searching. It looks like he's trying to figure out where his car needs to position, where he needs to gain runs, lose runs, and just seems more like Larry Miles has more control and understanding of where his car needs to be, as he's within a second now.
Yeah, Rick Raven and Larry Miles getting stuck behind different lap cars that allowed Tyler Justice to close in and bridge that gap.
Ooh,
Justice. Casey Keller.
Just lost the car.
Losing the car. We stay green. We're going to have to take a look back at that if we get a caution.
It was a great save, but just another example of the track is changing. The cars are feeling different. These drivers are having to get accustomed to it, and if they aren't ready for it, it's going to surprise them.
Yeah, that mistake from Keller, though, puts Miles and Justice all 1-2. Miles, Keller, and Justice. Sorry, Miles, Raven, and Justice. They all put them in between. There's no lap cars in between them. They're all next to each other, so they are fighting directly with each other, not with any lap cars. Justice getting around Gale Rolls, who's been getting in the wall a lot still. No damage as of yet from him, but Justice 6/10 and closing on Larry Miles. That gap was nearly 2 seconds on the exit of the pit, so he's closed in a lot there. And both of these guys have closed in a lot on Rick Raven in the lead. Very interesting to see how this develops, which we are approaching that little eye of the storm of this race.
Yeah, nearing the halfway point. My opinion from the start of the race of Rick Raven and Larry Miles being the fastest cars to beat has changed. Tyler Justice has really shown the speed that he has today, and just the understanding of not only the draft, but positioning the car in certain lanes, and he's just cutting away at these guys' leads. He's easily able to maintain his speed and just close in gaps. He's almost to the rear end of Larry Miles already, and he's only on 1 lap fresher tires. These guys hit on lap 38, 39, and 40, and Tyler Justice is showing them that he is significantly faster.
Yeah, that he is. Gap is now just over half a second there to Miles, and right about 1.2 seconds, 1.3 to Raven. Very curious to see, though, with how hard he's driving, how will that affect him in the light run? We saw Rick Raven in that first stint getting caught out by those old tires, not able to capitalize on it. Will Tyler Justice be in the same boat at the end of this, or will he start tire saving now that he's caught up to these guys?
Well, considering his pace just slowed down about 2/10, I'm going to imagine he's going to be slowing here and making sure that he's just going to have tires towards the end. As Todd Lee got on the wall on entry of 3 ahead of the leaders, he looks to be okay. He's still running. No
Yeah, still
significant damage for
running.
him.
This might play a big factor as Larry Miles has bridged that gap. Raven must have made a mistake because Miles is now within 0.3 of a second of the race leader, Rick Raven.
Well, it looks to me on the timing sheet at least that Larry Miles has been putting the pedal down these last couple of laps, really trying to catch Rick Raven. So maybe it's because he saw Tyler Justice in his rear end, or maybe he just realized, hey, I'm within a second. I want the lead. I want control of this race, and he's trying to do that. So he's just there. Tyler Justice had slowed down a little bit, but he's back to going as fast as he was before. He's 3/10 faster than
As he
Rick
looks
Raven
to
the
the
last lap.
inside on Larry Miles. Sorry for cutting you off there, but he's making that move, trying to get up to second place and hunt down Raven. Not able to this time, but he has stricken the first blood and first blow in this run here, this stint. And that has put Miles and probably Raven as well on watch for Tyler Justice in this race.
Yes, but I'm not sure he wanted to make that move that early. I think he was trying to just run that line as he was doing before, but with the run that he had, he kind of got stuck underneath there. Wasn't able to clear Larry, and Larry wasn't able to clear Tyler, so they got
Well,
stuck and
this time round,
lost
it
about
seems
4
Miles
tenths.
might have backed off because Justice has easily taken that position. Justice and Miles swapping now. Could this be some non? I know they're on different teams, but they could be working together here to close up and guarantee that fight with Rick Raven. As Justice
Well,
getting in the mirrors of Raven, trying to get behind, as you hear, that was probably Rolls once again getting in that wall on entry of 1. Justice now within 2/10 of Rick Raven. 1/10 right on his gearbox. Looking here at that
Tyler
of
Justice,
Rick Raven on that reverse.
Tyler Justice is putting on a coolant and showing these drivers how to pass and how to use that draft and utilize it well. But Marco Mini is catching. Marco Mini was about 4 seconds back from these leaders as Gale Rolls is just eating up the wall, running into the wall. They might have the advantage at this point, but Marco Mini has caught and he is within a second and a half. If he continues to run at this pace, he will be catching Larry Miles. He will be catching Rick Raven. But I'm not sure about Tyler Justice. The way that Tyler Justice ran later in that run, he was able to maintain his pace and pull away. But the way that they're battling, Rick Raven and Tyler Justice at the moment, this is letting Marco Mini catch. And if it becomes a 4-car battle, I don't see Marco Mini losing this. He has fresher tires than the other 3. Lap 41. It's only 1 lap better than Tyler Justice. It's 3 laps better than Rick Raven. It's 2 laps better than Larry Miles. You're going to have a lot of people watching this in the rear because the next car behind is Parker Vance, and he is half the track behind. So if they have an issue and they crash, you're going to have a lot of different cars towards the front again. You're going to have Parker Vance back towards the lead when he qualified. And these are all different strategies. It could honestly just go anybody's way if we get a caution right now.
Yeah, Rolls could be, though, hurting Marco Mini here on his quest to catch up to the top 3. Marco Mini 1.4 seconds back from Larry Miles in 3rd. And still closing, just not as quickly anymore as he's caught up to the dirty air of Gale Rolls, who currently sits in last as he scrapes that wall once more. Rick Raven, though, pulling out 4/10 to the 2nd and 3rd, with Miles 3/10. I think they're all starting to settle in now. Just know that there's still 95 laps left of this race, and they still have to pit 1 or 2 more times. Actually, they can't pit 1 more time. They have to pit at least 2 more times.
Yeah.
As they pit on lap 40 before, they're approaching lap 70 now. So we should start to see pit stops at some point within the next 10 laps.
I think you'll be seeing drivers come in. If it were me, if I was in the car, I would want to push my car to lap 80. Lap 80 is a really good point. Gives you a little bit of leeway in whether or not you can push or save. But considering the lap that Rick Raven came in, he might be coming in at 78. He might come in at 77, 78. depending on how he feels on his fuel. Remember, he is the leader. He's been out in front. He has no car
As
behind
we
him.
see Rick
Or in
Raven.
front of him, I mean.
Rick Raven getting the wall hard. Not Rick Raven. Gale Rolls getting in the wall hard there. That was a very big thing. He's fighting Miles now, trying to unlap himself. It seems he might now have the tires. He's been running so on that high side the whole time, so his tires, I think, are starting to get better than those top 3. That could be really hurting Miles, as now there's a lap car, a 2-lap down car, getting back to him as we see Ben Kuhn enter the pits. No damage from him. This might be an undercut from him. We know Parker Vance, his teammate, tried it as he's also coming to the pits. The 2 Gas Racing Company cars are into the pits here on lap 70. They are really trying to short pit this whole race.
Yes, it's a odd strategy. I don't see it working out unless you get a caution here, but it is what it is. I mean, you're in a position where you're not really fighting for any of the front spots. You want to try something different and try and get ahead of the competition that you're around. So, yeah. Larry Miles just got passed by Gale Rolls, and Gale Rolls is kind of not helping. He's telling Larry Miles to stay in his draft, but it's not necessarily going to help Larry Miles, especially when Gale Rolls is getting really poor exits off of 3 and 4. So
yeah,
I don't understand that.
I don't know what's going on. Like I said before, I think because Rolls has been staying on that high side the whole time, it's not been hurting his tires as much, and he's been able to keep up as he's getting really squirrely though, and entry hitting a bump in that wall. So close to it, scraping it almost. You can see here on board with Gale Rolls, you can just see how close he gets to this wall on entry. Staying right up against it while everyone else goes down. Turn 3 and 4, it's even more significant. Banking there slightly flatter, able to run that high side more. See in the shadow of the wall on the entry of turn 3. He's now losing time to Miles, who's got back around him and is trying to catch up to Tyler Justice once more.
Looking back at the speed chart, Larry Miles is currently the fastest of the non-pitting cars. But that all's going to change. You got Gale Rolls now as the fastest. You got Todd Lee faster, Casey Keller faster, and then Marco Mini is the fastest.
As we see Parker Vance and Rick Raven getting very racy here. There might have been some contact between them. That was very interesting to see. At one point, Parker Vance was ahead of Rick Raven on the start of the race on pole. Now he's just been lapped by Raven. His strategy, the tire strategy he was running, not working out so far as he's lost a lot of time there. This is going to hurt though Justice as well. Vance electing to stay high, giving Justice that inside, but it's still not enough. Justice is just too low because all his momentum was dead there in that corner. Parker Vance and Gale Rolls seeming to spoil the party here for the top 3 in their race. As we are approaching the pit stops, lap 77 now. Top 3 still has yet to pit. Top 4 has yet to pit.
As Rick Raven comes in right now.
Yeah, just as I say that, Rick Raven coming down pit road. He was the first to pit last time. Let's see what he does this time. Now, the way watch his pit, how he pit boxes, because unlike a bunch of the other guys, when he pits, he takes a really sharp pit exit. So he's going to angle his car more to the right in the pit box. Looking at that now, you can see there that angle really trying to help his pit exit even more. Very fast stop from him. Stays ahead of everyone else who's pit, but we turn back to the lead battle here. Vance still splitting the top 2. Will we? None of the top two electing to pit that time. And you can see there's tire saving. Justice and Miles being very good at saving their tires till the very end of the run. They're still putting in amazing speed in the corners.
From a driver's perspective, what Vance is doing isn't necessarily wrong, but it's very, very hurtful to the other two drivers that are on the lead lap that are currently the leaders. Parker is on a different strategy right now. He just pit. He's currently a lap down. He won't be a lap down when everybody pits, but it's just really harmful for those other two, and unfortunately it looks like the biggest loser out of that is Larry Miles, and looks like they're both going to be coming in right here. Larry's really catching Tyler Justice here on the pit entry.
Yeah.
So Tyler's not really maximizing his entry, but Larry is flying.
Is he gonna? Are they gonna go side by side in the pit lane? No, they're not.
Larry hit
but
him.
There is contact. Look at that gap there. Both on pit speed limit right now. As we see, Keller's also in the pits. Once again, Miles with the first stop. Right next to each other. Miles getting it stopped first. Up in the air first. Though, Miles seeming to have an issue. Could he have a penalty? No, he had a terrible getaway from him. Could he be taking some extra fuel, getting some repairs? Who knows, but Justice eclipsed him there on pit exit, and he keeps second place.
It looks to me like he did do some repairs on that front end. He had a bit of damage. He had pushed in that nose just a little bit. Unfortunately, that's going to be a really big problem.
Yeah, right when
Rick Raven. 5-second gap as... Ooh. Gale Rolls. Issue coming into the pits. Just overshot it. Tried to pass Marco Mini. Just missed the pit lane. Gets it in reverse and is able to go in, but...
Yeah, I'm going to go to a quick intermission here while I find that moment there for you guys. Going back here, we see this is not live. This is a replay. Here you can see Gale Rolls on pit entry on Marco Mini. Overshooting it, nearly going back on track. Having to reverse back into the pits. This could be a penalty for him for reversing on the track. Very dangerous maneuver from him there. He gets into the trash cans full of sand there. Very, very interesting to see. We'll cut back live here now. We see Rick Raven 5-second gap to Tyler Justice. Miles with a 10-second gap. Marco Mini in third. Raven, very, very good pit stop from him there. That's very surprising. I would have assumed that Justice would have been able to catch up more, but he took a super conservative pit entry. That allowed Miles to catch up to him, but that hurt him in the end. So it could be the case that that Justice's bad pit entry and Miles making contact with him could really secure the win. As we see a yellow flag, caution is out. For who exactly is it? It looks like it's Ben Kuhn. He's missing his front.
Yeah, we are currently reviewing that missed pit road and putting it in reverse on the track.
Caution brought to you by Tafai Artis as you hear lead race control Todd Lee reviewing that incident with Gale Rolls in his pitting.
When you missed pit road and put it in reverse to go back to pit road, you should have kept going. That is currently under review.
Todd Lee once again saying what's going on here with Gale rolls. Unsure what happened there.
We are going to issue a black flag to you for putting in reverse and going on track backwards. You should have either stopped and put it in tow, got a yellow, but putting in reverse was not the way to do it.
Very interesting there from Todd Lee. This is still a replay, mind you.
30-second hold on pit road.
Gale rolls with a hold now. Very interesting to see. That's going to be a very big game changer. 30-second hold for Gale rolls. That's going to all but end his race. It's very surprising. Or not surprising that it happened, but surprising that that Gale rolls did something like that. This is our first caution of the race. All drivers get 1 lap back under yellow, except Rolls and Kuhn for causing the yellow and also getting a penalty under yellow. Kuhn will probably be getting an EOL, end of line penalty for that. Daniel, what's your reaction to that penalty there for Gale Rolls?
I mean, it's rough. It sucks. But, yeah, I don't know. On my end, I don't know. Gale Rolls, I didn't see what happened. I didn't.
Yeah, we went over it
Everything
on the
was kind of black on my end.
went over it on the
Unfortunately.
broadcast. Missed pit entry, and then reversed back into the pits. He was on.
So it was the punishment.
That was the punishment. Yeah, 30-second
Okay.
hold there.
I agree. I don't know the situation, if whether or not he had no more fuel and he couldn't make it away, is just another lap around, but that's what he should have done. He should have gone another lap around and just pit afterwards. There's no reason to have done that, unfortunately. But it is what it is. It's a learning situation. They're just going to have to understand that for next time and just be more aware.
Yeah, and if
As
you're
for the
wondering,
caution, though,
yeah,
I mean, Ben, unfortunately, was blinking in and out, and it looks like he got shoved
loose
into the
under one of
inside
those
wall.
blinks. As Parker Vance in the pits currently missing half his front wing.
Oh,
No.
yes.
Todd Lee, I need you to pass to make your wave around, please.
What happened there?
Lee Sr. being told by Lee Jr. to make the pass, get his wave around. He's going to be back on this on 1 lap down instead of 2. Vance not getting so lucky. Has to take that repair, fast repair for his front wing, or might not have been a fast repair, might have just been a wing change. Though, interestingly enough, with how everything's shaken up, Tyler Justice is leading the race. Matthias Marcamini in second. Jace Mayer in third. Rick Raven in fourth. And Larry Miles in fifth.
That caution had some big implications for the future in this next stop. Since Rick Raven and Larry Miles both pit under that caution for fuel only, it looks like. The top 3 currently are going to have to stop again. Also, I'm not sure what the situation is with the current restart, but it looks like
yeah, restarts were supposed to be single file.
Yeah,
some of the cars
they
liking
were
to stay
too
side
wide.
by side. That will probably be under review as we're back under green flag conditions here. See, Gale Roll is going to have to go in under green flag to start that penalty, as is the rules. But Rick Raven getting around Marcamini already, and he's up to second, hunting down Tyler Justice. It's a 4-car race here for the lead. Justice, Raven, Marcamini, Miles. Going to be very interesting to see how this develops. Justice never really led under our full fuel. he's always led when there's been old tires and no gas. Curious to see how Rick Raven on the new tires, just with on the new tires compared to these other new tire runners, will fare, as Rolls electing to, after that penalty, retire from the event. Not electing to serve that penalty, he was already 2 laps down. Can't fault him too much there, but I can fault him there for incurring that penalty on himself. There could be seeing an appeal on that.
I'm not sure there's much to appeal on that penalty. Unfortunately, he did a pretty dangerous thing. Drivers can't really, if you start reversing on the track, there's no driver that's going to know, like, oh, okay, yeah, he's just going to reverse from the pit lane. You have people that are pitting. He was mid-cycle. The whole reason why that occurred was because he was trying to pass Matthias Marcomini going into pits, and you can't do that. You could pass coming in, but there was just no room for that, and he was multiple laps down already. There's no reason to try and push like that. And so he incurred that on himself. I don't see any method of avoiding that.
Yeah, just cut away to it really quickly. Parker Vance in the pits also probably seemed to be retiring from this race, or at least getting some extended repairs done. Justice chooses to go to the bottom, forcing Rick Raven up high if he wants to make that pass. Still staying behind, but Marcomini and Miles have lost a lot of time. They're 1.5 seconds back from the top 2.
Well, I think the top 2 are pushing really hard for how early it is, honestly. These guys, obviously, they were able to save a little bit more fuel coming to this run. Once that caution occurred, you can save a little bit of fuel during pacing and put yourself on your way.
As we
Miles
see,
has to make a move on Marcomini.
Yeah, Miles ahead there for a short little bit. This battle is still going on. Parker Vance getting back out of the pits, did some extended repairs. He's now 5 laps down.
Miles was able to clear. He's now in 3rd position, and these guys are just, trying to make their way through. Miles is on a different strategy with a little bit more fuel. We'll see how much fuel he has to take during that next caution on the green flag. But if you're Tyler Justice, this situation isn't preferred. You're actually in a worse spot now than Rick Raven, depending on how much fuel you have to take. If it's full fuel, you're still taking around the same, but if it's a smaller amount of fuel, Rick Raven might be able to come out of the pits real quick and not have any problems. I mean, if he has a clean pit stop, he might be able to jump Tyler Justice again, especially with the entry that him and Miles have compared to Justice. Justice is a little bit slower on entry and make sure that he doesn't incur a penalty, but it has not been beneficial for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Justice not in the best position as of right now, even though he is in the leading position. Miles somehow losing even more time to Rick Raven. He's now 2.5 seconds back from Raven. 3 seconds off the lead. Rick Raven fallen 0.5 second off of Justice, make that 7/10. I think he came to the realization that he was overdriving it, and he's settling back in, slowing the car down, letting Justice use up his tires, and then he's going to try and fight back closer to the end of the stint, which this will mean this is going to be probably the final pit stop next time these guys come in, right around lap 120-ish, maybe closer to 130. A lot of support here for Tyler Justice in the chat. Probably teammates of his in Rogue, not Rogue Energy, that's their sponsor in the team there. Curious to see if some of these teammates will be making an appearance at the Indy 500. Signups are open, $200 on the line for that one race. Yeah, very curious to see if Tyler Justice will be the only car for his team there, or if there will be others present. Three different teams represented in the top 4 here. Justice for his team, Raven for Aftershock, owned by Aftershock, owned by Vantage Pro Series driver Jacob Hoskins. Larry Miles for Horsepower Hill, also a Vantage Pro Series team. This one owned by Paul French. Mark Mini also on Horsepower Hill. Vance Gas Racing Company, he's way down in 9th, but he is 5th on track. Mayer is representing Rodent Racing. Keller next in 6th. He is currently a free agent as he's pulling into the pits for his stop. Curious to see what happens with that. Keller might be getting signed to a team soon for Indy. Who knows? Curious to see. He's made waves here in the series, shown himself as a real formidable talent. But he's in the pits. Lee, WMD Racing, owner driver. Kuhn, also Gas Racing Company. But we turn our attention back to the lead as Justice has lost a bit of time. Ravens closed in somewhat, but Larry Miles, nearly 4 seconds off Rick Raven and over 4.5 seconds off Tyler Justice. He's getting headhunted right now by Matthias Marcamini.
Yeah, I'm really curious on what the strategy is for Miles, because it doesn't look like it's necessarily him going full speed. It looks like he's actually saving, but I'm not sure what he's saving. He might be saving his tires so he takes only fuel this next stop, or he might be saving fuel, but you can't make it to the end from here. You can go 40 laps, but they pin on lap 88 with 1 or 2 laps of caution. Additionally, you're estimating about 40 laps from lap 90, so 130. You're still 30 laps out. There's no saving fuel to that point. Now, if he is saving tire, and if he is going to try and make it a fuel-only stop, he's lost so much time. There's not necessarily any way for him to gain. So, unless he's just running the high side because that's just where he feels comfortable, it's not necessarily working for him, and I don't see how currently at the moment he will be gaining anything other than 3rd position.
Yeah.
Strategy, and the calculations just don't support any sort of like flipping it or anything. He requires a caution to basically bring him back into this battle, as Rick Raven and Tyler Justice are still within half a second.
Yeah, Raven and Justice really showing out here. Rick Raven setting the fastest first sector of the race on this current lap. Tyler Justice setting the fastest second sector on this current lap. Very curious to see lap times separated by 9/100ths of a second for these guys. 26.4, both in the 26.4s. Fastest lap currently held by Rick Raven at 25.75. Justice and Miles both in the 25.9s. But that's not what they're doing right now, and Justice has allowed Rick Raven to catch up 0.4 of a second, separate the two now. Miles fallen to 6 seconds off the lead. Very shocking from him. I'm surprised Marcamini hasn't already made that pass.
Yeah, I'm also wondering, this has to be a strategy of some sort, because both these cars have just been staying next to each other. They're not trying to make moves on each other. They're running 2 different lanes constantly. If Miles is up high, Marcamini runs low. If Miles is low, then Marcamini goes high. It's just, it's curious. As the battle for the lead heats on right now.
Yeah, Raven
Very close.
looking to the
Side by side
inside.
now. It's like
Is
Raven's
he going to get cleared? He does get the clearance as of right now, but Justice
very tight
able
on
to
exit,
cut
very,
back.
very tight.
It's a drag race to turn 1. Justice winning that drag race Is he going to go up to block Rick Raven there on the exit from getting that run off the corner? He is, but that's going to allow Raven. Is he going to hang back, or is he going to go to that inside? No, he goes to the outside there, trying to get some of that overlap on the car. This battle is just seeing, as you mentioned earlier, what lines Rick Raven can do, as we see further back. Mark and Minnie and Miles, the 2 Horsepower Hill teammates, both fighting for position for the third position on track. 0.2 of a second now separate them, but 0.1 of a second separates the leaders here. Rick Raven looking to the outside. I think he's still trying to save some tire while trying to stay in this race. Raven has never won a race in the VISL, as I've mentioned multiple times now. He's led a race and he's led laps in all of them. Something catching him out every single time. Could it be tire wear this time?
I think he's burning more tire running that line. He's putting his car a little bit too high, it looks like, and he's having to arc the corner a little bit harder than Tyler Justice at the moment. He's having to correct it, and I just don't like the position that he's in right now. He's going to pit, for sure, to try and undercut Tyler Justice. He has less fuel. He's going to be a lot quicker on that pit stop. So if he can use the run he gets to dive into the pit lane and try and undercut, he might have the winning position. That might be the winning move of this race. But Tyler Justice has to have a pristine pit cycle. He has to get in clean. He has to get in fast. And he has to be perfect. No speeding. No missing the box. Everything has to be perfect to beat.
Oh, Justice! Tyler Justice!
Lost it!
He's crashed out of this race!
He lost.
Caution flag is out. His wheels are still on, so and he hasn't used his fast repair yet. Caution flag is out. Look in the chat. Members of Tyler Justice's team cheering him on. His team owner, Rusty Rafferty, also in the chat cheering him on. Just as he crashes from the lead. And he missed the pit entrance. So he's going to have to do one lap on this damaged car.
It looks like it's still functioning though. He
car is
broke his nose. The nose of the car is just hanging by a thread. It's just on, but it looks like he doesn't have significant damage other than that. He might have some wheel damage. He is going to take a fast repair if he still has it. If not, he will be unfortunately severely damaged and probably won't be near the front if he doesn't have that fast repair. But every car here is going to be pitting, taking tires. You're 40 laps out from the finish of this race. This is the stop. If any other cars in the field still have tires, an extra set, they will be at an advantage. But this should be the last set of the race for everyone.
Next lap.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're gonna take a look here at what happened to Tyler Justice. This is a replay. You can see here, loses the car by himself on exit, slams into that wall, and is sent spinning like a merry-go-round. Unfortunate there for him. Let's look on board with that. Taking a look there as gyrocam, you can see just losing the car there at the crossover, that dirty air catching him out. He's sent spinning. Gonna be curious to see what happens there as we will go back live. Does he still have that front wing of his? He does. He's gotten it repaired. His damage is fixed and he stays in fourth. Curious though to see what's gonna happen here. As you mentioned, drivers in a perfect spot for take their final pit stop, just enough laps to run it back. Curious though if anyone pit just before then, because I know some of the drivers such as Vance and Kuhn, the 2 GRC cars, really were doing that. As we see the lap guys, all the lap cars of Lee, Keller, Kuhn, and Vance all get back going, get their laps, get one lap back. This is going to put Lee on the lead lap of this race. So good on him. his first ever VISL start, and he is going to have a lead lap finish. He's nearly in the top 5 for that. Another quiet name that's been in a good position right now, Jace Mayer. Not really doing a lot. We were mostly focused on his teammate, Gail Rolls, who had that penalty for his pit lane antics, as we'll put it. He sits in 4th position. Just behind him seems audience favorite Tyler Justice. Probably led the most laps this race, him or Rick Raven. That includes some extra points with that. Going to be a good points fall from him either way, but he's going to have right around 37 laps once we get back underway, 36, to try and make something work here and get back up to the winning position. As we are going back green, everyone's still in the single file. Raven, Miles, Mark and Minnie, all doing very good. We can see here on our way, Raven keeping that lead as Miles...
Don't get too excited. We are going to redo that restart.
Restart being elected to be redone. Caution is out. They didn't like that start.
I was going to mention that. I didn't like that either. In the back, Tyler Justice, Jace Meyer, Todd Lee, Senior, I guess. A lot of issues there in the rear. They weren't really filed in, and they just kind of overcrowded themselves. This benefits Tyler Justice immensely, though, and I'm not sure how the procedure is going to go on this. He's going to pass the 2 lap, or actually, wait, only 1 lap car, Parker. Never mind. It's all good, but he had a horrible restart. This is going to help him. He lost about 2 seconds just from the restart alone, so if you're Tyler Justice, you're very happy with this, and gives you a little less time to make it up to the lead, but you know you're fast, you know you're capable of catching up, and you just gotta get around a few cars.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be curious to see if they, the admins elect to reorder the grid back to what it was at that time. It doesn't look like... It seems Todd Lee Sr. was the only one to gain position here. Let me just ask the admins real quickly.
Yeah, from the start of that restart, the only car that really was out of place seemed like Parker, and then everyone else, because of the wave rounds, they've all go back to the lead lap. So, unfortunately, Tyler Justice was behind only other lead lap cars, so he gets stuck there.
Yeah,
now, this does bring up a weird situation, because Larry Miles has the lead, right?
Yes.
And Larry Miles was just able to restart with the understanding, okay, this is the position of where I'm restarting. This is where the green gets thrown. This is where I can go. Now that he knows that, he's ahead of Rick Raven. He can position himself to get a really, really good restart here and maybe leave a little bit of a gap between him and Raven, where Raven has to push the car a little harder and Marco Mini is going to be right behind. So if he can create a small gap and have Marco Mini fight Raven...
Tyler, just a heads up, because we are redoing the previous restart, we're putting you back at the end of the line for the previous penalty. There's not going to be any extra penalty for it.
Yeah, real quickly, let's pull up lead race control. Todd Lee here. Todd, it's Elliot and Daniel up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you loud clear, buddy.
Alrighty, so you guys didn't seem to like that last restart, electing to put him back under yellow. Are you guys going to be reordering the cars back to what it was before that restart?
We are trying to figure that out right now. For some reason, when we did the wave rounds, it freaked iRacing out, and it caused chaos. People were not where they were supposed to be, so we are currently trying to get everybody back where they are, put everybody back in the right spots, and move on from there.
Yeah, I noticed Rick Raven losing the lead to Larry Miles. Is that going to be corrected, or are you just affecting the lapped cars and Tyler Justice, who's getting that EOL once again?
We are going to give Rick Raven the lead back. It's just a matter of trying to figure out. Well, probably what we will end up having to do is give Rick Raven his...
That's how I've been told to do the restart for single file.
The black flag for the second place driver, so that way he doesn't get affected by it.
Yeah, that seems like a fair plan. Curious to see here rolls with the penalty, electing to retire instead of serving it. Justice Kuhn also with EOLs for that, for causing the 2 yellows we've had so far. What is your reaction been to the cleanliness of this race?
So far, so good. I'm pretty happy with it. Haven't really had any issues. We had one accident, single car accident, but it was a pretty big one, so we just wanted to, for safety. So,
And I will say, lights are off on the safety car. Are we getting back underway, or do we need to add some more laps to this thing?
we're gonna add one more lap so we can get everything squared away.
Alrighty, I'll get you back in with your admin, William Hightower. Good luck out there. Last couple laps here in adminning.
All right, thank you.
That was Chief Race Control for
Rick,
Vantage
if you will,
Special
please
League.
pass Larry. Larry, it is going, or Rick, it's going to give you a black flag for doing it, but to give you your spot back, go ahead and pass Larry. So you were back in your position. Larry, unfortunately, based off this being a redone restart, you were in second when you decided to do it. So.
Yeah, Rick Raven there gaining that position back as we barely even restarted. Curious to see what happens here. Is we haven't seen any change in position just yet. Is that gonna happen? Is there gonna be some sort of protest here? Rick Raven also not electing to make that change in position.
I see what's going on. So the situation is, because before the caution, when they had filed in last time, Rick was ahead. Because Rick was...
Yes, I understand it's plenty to stay behind the 30 car. We are going to clear your black flag to give you your position back since that was a redo on the restart.
His position is maintained from the last caution, and now he will be...
You will when you pass him to get your spot back.
I really like that rule. I don't think that's one I enjoy, but that's mostly just because of the timing of it, and had the admins done the caution just a little bit earlier.
So I was telling you to stay behind them, but we're redoing the restart, and because you were leader on the last restart, we're making you leader on this restart. When we go green, it'll give you a black flag for passing under yellow, but we will clear it. Go ahead and pass Larry.
I think with this, Larry's in a better position, though. Now that he's in second. He's going to have a lot more to work with, better draft. The only issue is just passing Rick, but as long as he's within that draft, he should be okay. So we'll
yeah, as we're adding even more laps here to this yellow flag because Rick seems to be scared about the black flag, that there will be a black flag for him for passing Larry under yellow. That is not going to be the case.
He just doesn't understand, and
yeah.
Unfortunately...
Yes, you will be the leader on the restart. You can go ahead and pass him and take the green as the leader.
This hasn't been encountered in any other situation, but these drivers aren't accustomed to that rule, so this is more of a dirt racing rule, so...
Yes, sir. We will clear the black when you go green. It will give you a black, but we will immediately clear it. We're just redoing the previous restart. And that's where you were at on the previous restart.
Protocol in most racing, but this is the rule here, and they have to understand that.
Yeah, generally what seems to happen, in most cases what's supposed to happen, is that the drivers will gain the... drivers are supposed to... That's supposed to be cleared before we can... that laps are supposed to be added to abandon the restart right before we get back underway. Just missing at that time, I think, just because of how late everything was caught up and finalized. Everything seemed to be going well until the very last second when everything fell away and there just wasn't enough time to add a lap. So we had to get back underway. Now we should be approaching back 1 to green. Yes, we are now 1 to green. Rick Raven, your race leader. We're going to be actually going this time, and this has, I think, fully secured the fact that there will be no more pit stops in this race.
Yeah. Obviously, Ben Kuhn is hoping for another caution here.
I'm sorry for the confusion, guys. Thank you for working with us.
And 1 lap down, really hoping that he can get his lap back. Same thing with the 71 of Casey Keller. Both of those cars are 1 lap down. They're going to be fighting here for that position. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be rough. They're only gonna have 30.
I did believe somebody asked.
29.
It is on the leader on the restarts.
And now that Rick has the lead again, Larry's gonna have to really push. And I'm not sure about exactly about the rules on jumping the start from the rear if you're able to pass cars on the outside, making lane changes. But from what I saw in the last restart, that's what occurred.
Yeah, that's what Tyler Justice did do that. We'll be curious to see. Looking at it as we're about to get back underway here. We are green. Green flag is out. We're right around 29 to go here in VISL at Homestead. A very good getaway from Rick Raven. He keeps that lead. Miles with another good getaway from Markamini. Mayer staying right on Markamini's gearbox. Could we see Mayer for the first time this race enter the top 3? Lee in 5th. Vance laps down. Kuhn slightly further ahead, also still laps down. Justice Lee lap, he's still stuck in the back of the pack here as Casey Keller coming down pit road. Is he electing to retire from this race?
No, he had a penalty, unfortunately.
Oh, receiving a penalty. Interesting to see what that is for. Unsure on that.
With that penalty, though, Parker Vance may gain a position here. We'll see how that goes for him. I know he's hoping for a better finish in 9th, 4 laps down.
Yeah, trying to see where... Looking right now to see where that penalty occurred for Casey Keller. Yeah, it seems Casey got a black flag for under that secondary restart pit. He did that secondary restart attempt. He did pit in that, and that gave him an iRacing black flag for some sort of pit violation. Interesting to see that play out. He's still a lap ahead of Parker Vance, but this guy Casey Keller is hoping for a better position in the championship, which he is going to gain on Tom Minot, but it's not going to allow him to get any closer to Miles or Raven ahead.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with the way that this race is playing out, it looks like Rick Raven might have this in the bag. Larry Miles, unfortunately, now dropping down to about a second behind. Raven's putting down his fastest laps right now compared to the team. He's a 10th faster than everybody else, and he's just taking those laps down, trying to just finish this because he doesn't want any more stopping.
Yeah, absolutely. But we still have 23 laps left, which is still a good chunk of time for tire wear to take effect. Justice getting ahead of Lee. He's gone ahead of all the lap cars. Everyone ahead of him is 4th position now. He's hoping to catch up. He's catching really quickly on Jace Mayer in 4th, who's also losing time now to Markamini in 3rd. I wouldn't count Tyler Justice out of this, especially, which I'm not holding my breath. We might get another yellow here with how close everyone's racing and how little time is left in this race. Justice now passing Mayer. He has 2 seconds to go until he can catch up to Markamini. Right around 5 seconds off the lead. He is running some very fast laps now.
Yeah, but unfortunately for Justice, he is 5 seconds back for the lead, and he just, at this point, is hoping for a caution, and he does not want to be a part of it. He has no fast repair, and unfortunately, he was the closest battle on the track, so unless one of these drivers loses the car exiting turns 2 or 4, or slaps the wall really hard and destroys their car, I don't see a caution happening here, and unfortunately for Tyler Justice, he's just going to have to settle for, at best, a 3rd place.
Yeah, he's running, though. He is running faster lap times by around a 10th and a half compared to the top 2. over 2/10 to the top 3. Larry Miles, though, setting a similar lap time to him. Miles now down to 8/10. He is closing back in on Rick Raven. Oh,
Good
Miles
save
in the
by
wall
Ben.
there.
Ben almost lost it.
Miles tapped the wall. Ben Kuhn, apparently with a good save there, blinking once again. Hard to really watch him with his internet connection troubles. Miles, right as we looked on him, he scraped the wall slightly in 3, or yeah, in 3. So that might have hurt him a little bit, but he stays within a second of Rick Raven. Justice closing in very quickly though on Mark and Minnie. Still no guarantee as to yet who will be the winner. 17 to go. It's only been about 10 laps since we got underway. I'd say, as much as you think Justice can't do it, I think he might actually be able to, especially with how Raven slowed down in that first when he was in free air. I'm not holding my breath that Justice can't catch back up.
I'm just a little worried about the gap. Tyler Justice really had a horrible restart because the cars ahead of him were just not letting him make the moves. He was catching them in really awkward positions. His line was a lot cleaner than what the other guys were running. He was catching them on exits, catching them on entries. It's just not good.
Yeah, Miles running right up against that wall they were in 4. Not touching it this time. But he's right around just under a second off Raven. Justice.
I think what's helping Justice though is he's a 10th faster than everyone else, like you mentioned before, but he really is only catching Marcomini. Marcomini and Justice are going to battle here for third. They're within a second. Larry Miles is within a second of Rick. And honestly, I'm pretty sure if there is the fall off that we saw in the first one, it'll be in the last 5 laps. But the way that Larry's driving that car, it looks like Larry is really, really using up his tires, and I don't see him catching Rick Raven at this point. He's getting really tight on exit, getting really close to the wall, and the car just seems like it doesn't really want to do what he wants.
That is very true. Justice now was at one point under a second to Mark Mini, now just over a second. He's closing in very rapidly now, but that's also using his tires, which is going to hurt him if he catches up to Rick Raven. Curious though to see what happens. Gap is firmly under a second now from Justice to Mark Mini. Current battle on track. Yeah, we were talking. Yeah, Larry Miles saying he thought he was going to win. The main person we're thinking is going to win now is Rick Raven, and Tyler Justice is going to be the big fight now. And Miles, even though he's in second, he's not the primary name in this conversation. Justice setting wicked fast lap times here. Still, compared to the rest of the field, gap is under half a second now from him to third place, Matthias Marcomini. Just went 3/10 faster than Miles and Marcomini, and 2/10 faster than Rick Raven on that last lap. He is cooking this car right now. Gap is just over 3 seconds between Justice and the leader.
I just want to quickly mention Parker Vance just set the fastest lap over 25.7 last lap. Or 2 laps ago. So
yeah, Parker Vance 25.737,
absolute
300ths off of stealing it from Rick Raven. Parker Vance got pole in qualifying.
Another fastest lap from Parker Vance, 25.718.
Wow,
so
Parker Vance
down
is
heaters right now.
Parker Vance in 9th place, 5 laps down, putting down some real barn burners of lap times here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Tyler Justice had caught Marcomini, wasn't able to make the pass, and it looks like he is fading again. His tires might be spent.
Yeah, Miles really fading. 2 seconds back now.
Yeah, the gap is too big. at this point. Marco Mini looks like he is in the hunt for second position here, with Justice in tow. And Rick Raven, all he has to do is just finish this race. No mistakes, no hitting the wall, no losing the car off of 2 or 4. Just finish the race.
As Marcomini scrapes the wall there on the exit of 4, Justice not the only one feeling the pressure here. Justice back within 10th and a half. He still has a chance at this podium here. Be some big points for him.
Ooh, a bit of a correct from Justice there. It's not really what you want to do, especially trying to make a move there. But Justice and Marcomini are still faster than Raven. Catching slightly, but not enough. 5 laps to go. Raven putting down some pretty slow lap times. Larry Miles back within a second and a half, but we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, definitely
It was 2
it's
seconds back.
definitely the case right now that Justice, who is being blocked right now by Marcomini.
Yeah, some really aggressive blocking from Marcomini. That, like, this may cause a caution the way he is driving. Unfortunately, and look, as a driver, you do want to make blocks. You want to prevent people from passing you, but a block like that is just too aggressive, especially in an open wheel car. If any of you guys have any contact, both cars are totaled. And the way Marcomini is driving, he's not being careful with his car.
Chopping the nose off Tyler Justice. Justice probably getting a little more impatient now as we're approaching the 3 to go marker fairly soon. He does get the overlap there on entry. Marcomini
will be
pushing on exit. Marcomini in the wall on the front straight. Just barely scraping it. That's going to allow Justice to keep that overlap. And push it a bit more on corner exit here.
Marcomini's going to still have the position here. So he's not in a bad spot. Justice, unfortunately, is getting kind of blocked off. But a really tight exit from Marcomini has brought Justice back into it. 2 laps to go here. Raven's gone. Marcomini and Justice fighting.
Yeah, I think this battling here, Justice finally getting cleared of Marcomini, I think that's going to secure it. But Marcomini trying to take a look back in 3. I think that battle caused Justice to lose the chance at getting past Miles. But we're going to take a look here at our leader. I know we're in there's a bit of a battle on the final lap here between Marcomini and Justice, but this whole race, Rick Raven had been a possibility of losing it a bunch of time here on exit, but he goes into the infield as he crosses the line. Rick Raven, after 4 rounds, is your winner here at Homestead, Miami on the Oval. No mistakes this time. Nearly were a couple, but yeah, very close from him. Justice,
congratulations, Rick, on your
3rd.
win. If I can get the top 3 to please go to the waiting room for your broadcast interviews. Thank you, guys.
Justice in 3rd.
Great race.
Yeah, Marcomini in 4th. 5th, Jace Mayer, Todd Lee 6th. Here is your leader and winner, Rick Raven, electing to just stop on the line. Going pretty classy. Oh, he's doing a little bit of a wiggle there. Some celebratory wiggles. Can he get a burnout started? Is he gonna want to? Good on him there. Let's just take a little quick cut away while we get ready for the interviews. See if anyone is. No one currently in the waiting room. Rick Raven, you're a winner. Let's see, 3rd place, Tyler Justice. Is he gonna be here for an interview. Doesn't seem to be the case. We're gonna take a real quick commercial break and then come back with these post-race interviews.
The challenge for the win. Gonna get alongside him. Off of 4. They touch. They touch. Drag race to the line. Could it happen again? Photo finish. Yes. Daniel Michelle. What a finish. We're gonna go for it. For the lead. 3 wide.
3 wide in turn 3.
Run to the line. They're wrecking. Side by side. Who got it? Side by side. Right to the line. Who's it gonna be? G for CP and CP edges him out. Nels can make him go the long way, and he does it. They touch. Does he hold on to it? Yes. Close. But here comes Smitty. Smitty on the bottom. Here he comes to the line. Who is it gonna be? It is gonna be Mike Tyson. The fireworks are going off on and off the track. Cuts the corner, does RBN. They touch again. A drag race, side by side. And here we go. The photo finish. Let's go ahead and take a look at the power ranking.
Yes.
So,
Sup, fuckers. I use math to make shit go fast.
gonna be a sitting duck here. There goes VNV, around the outside, up the middle, trying to get 2 for the price of 1, trying to get 3 for the price of 1, and he does! VNV in the 4th!
Wait here. Alrighty, everybody. I am joined by your third place finisher, Tyler Justice. Tyler, you were going up and down the grid the whole race. Curious to hear what happened there at the end. You were involved in that contact there, which took you out of contention for the win. Yeah, absolutely. You were showing some very good pace, putting down some amazing lap times there towards the end. Curious to see. I know you showed well at this oval, and you've already signed up for the Vindy 500. Could we see some of your teammates who were in the chat at this race also make an appearance at that race? I know you run a lot of ovals. Y- Yeah, the $200 might be another bit of convincing factor for them. You might want to talk to them about. Yeah, well, yeah, yeah, absolutely. Great to hear the words of support. Anyone you'd like to thank here today for this third place finish? Yeah, great to hear. Well, congratulations on the P3, and we'll see you here next week for the road course version here at Homestead, Miami. Absolutely. Well, great to hear that, and we'll see you next time. That was P3 Tyler Justice. Next up, we have second place finisher Larry Miles. Larry, you got a copy? All right. Well, we spoke to you earlier in the pre-show, talking to you about, and you said you had some confidence. Rick Raven then showed up last minute entry and absolutely blitzed the field, just barely taking that win away from you. You sort of fell off at the end. Talk us through how your race went.
Fuel and tires for most of it. Didn't really want to lead because I mean less fuel saved. Um, and it went green for a while, and then when the yellow came out, that changed a lot of stuff. And also the like when I did get to the lead on the one restart, I guess they found a rule in the rule book that Rick's supposed to be in the lead again, and that kind of cost me like any chance of winning because as soon as I was behind him, the dirty air would just keep me behind like the whole time. So
Yeah, very,
yeah,
and yeah, definitely some drama going on. Throughout the race, you showed pace throughout the whole thing. Yeah, this is gonna really. I think this continues your championship lead. If I'm not mistaken, you're gonna still be in the lead after this race. Looking into next week at Homestead, Miami. What's your reaction there to the road course version of this track?
it'll be fun. I don't think I've ever raced around that version, so it'll be new for me.
Yeah, definitely will be a new experience, especially for most of these guys. Not really a track you see often run. Well, finishing second here, a good result. Anyone you'd like to thank here for that position?
Once again, I'd like to thank Paul French for paying for my entry fee, as always. I gotta thank him. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, absolutely. P2 Larry Miles. Congrats on the P2, and we'll see you next week here at once again at Homestead.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was Larry Miles in second. And just a note, on Tyler Justice, I know we couldn't hear his microphone there, or the audience couldn't. He he felt good about the race. He liked the league. He wants some of his guys to come next time. It's for the future races, and yeah, he shouted out sponsors. Rogue Energy had some fruit punch Rogue Energy on the way during the race, and yeah, some of his other sponsors. Good on him for that third, and we're sorry we couldn't hear him that time. Well, now it's time to talk to someone who we can hear. Rick Raven, you won this race. You've been trying this whole time to get that win. Finally came here in round 4. Talk us through your immediate reaction to this win.
I'm pretty happy. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. That's my immediate reaction. And yeah, well, I worked, I worked almost 60 hours this week, and I'm just absolutely maxed out as far as my energy level is concerned. I was taking a nap on the couch, and what's his name? Saucy sent me a message. Said, "Aren't you racing?" And I just woke up on the couch. I looked. I was in a fog, and I'm like, "What race?" I said, "Oh, Homestead. That's right. I almost missed the friggin' race." So I came in with two minutes to go. I had no idea what to do with the bars and the jacker, and I just, I went for it in qualifying. I didn't know if it was going to be loose off 2. I didn't know what the deal was going to be, and I certainly had no practice in the race setup. So that first stint, I was running to see what it was going to do with the tires, and then I guess it was Tyler Justice, good racer. He ran me down. And I says, okay, I'm smoking the fronts, so I gotta make an adjustment in the pits. So I made an adjustment. It was pretty good. I had to make another one, but after that, we were good to go. But the thing is, I think Mateus might have had this race if we didn't get a yellow flag because once again it was a fuel mileage deal, and we were just short. And so I think the top 3 or maybe top 4 were all going to be short of fuel. So those who were back there conserving had a huge advantage, but the yellow flag came and it saved us. So, and I got snookered on that second to last restart. Then they reset the field. I don't know what happened. There was something with iRacing or something, and they told me we're going to put you back in front for the restart. I said, well, I'm not going to let that happen again. And so we were just able to hang on to the lead for the rest of the race. But, Larry Miles was back there. He was, he's fast. I think he won a couple of races. So he's definitely one of the quick ones. And I just had to keep it out in front, and feed him dirty air and try to break that draft on the straightaways. And it worked out, man. Finally, we're in victory lane.
Yeah, finally, mistakes have been catching out all time from other drivers, and bad luck from you the previous races. It went differently this time, and you walked away with that win. Looking into the future, you've signed up for the Vindy 500. One of the next ovals we'll go to here in VISL.
I don't even know when that is.
June 21st with qualifying June 14th.
Oh, okay, we got time. Okay.
Yeah, you got time. Curious to see though. Are some of your other teammates, other competitors, good friends, are they also going to be making an appearance?
Honestly, this is going to sound a little weird, maybe a little arrogant, but I have no idea. I'm just racing. I'm involved with so many leagues. I lose track. I can't even, I almost missed this race today, but I don't know. I hope so. My teammates weren't there today. But I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of leagues doing a lot of Indianapolis 500s because it is the month of May, so everybody's got the fever, and so I'm involved in several of them, and we'll just see what happens. So I'm looking forward to this Vantage deal because they run a pretty good show here. I've been doing this for 30 years, and they've got a pretty solid deal going. That they're with their adminning and penalties on the spot, and you have people watching over what's going on, and I like the way this league is run. So. I'm excited. I can't wait to run this Indy 500.
Yeah, always great to hear the support from the drivers on how the league has run. Anyone you'd like to thank here today?
Yeah, I want to thank you.
I
want to thank you. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be in victory lane. No, thank you for your putting on the show in the booth here, and thanks to those who run this league. And Saucy, are you out there, Saucy?
Pretty sure Jacob Hoskins. Saucy.
Jacob. Okay, Jacob. That's just, I don't even know his name. Saucy. Okay.
Yeah,
Jacob.
Vantage Pro Series driver and owner of the of Aftershock. I'm pretty sure he's in the audience at one point. Jacob, you got a driver in victory lane finally in both series now.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell him thanks for sending me that message because I probably would have slept right through it. So thanks for sending me the message.
I sent him a message at what was it? I sent him a message at 9 minutes after the session went up. I was like, "Hey, by the way, your entire team is missing." So that didn't realize that.
He's a good dude. I would have been really sorry to let him down because I know that he puts a lot into this, and I'm glad I was able to bring home the victory finally for Aftershock. Hopefully my teammates will be at the next one, but Jacob, we did it, baby. We did it. Looking forward to the next one. I've never run the Homestead Road course, but I heard Larry say he's never run it either, so I guess we're starting on even ground there.
I don't think too many people have run it.
Probably be yet another fuel mileage race. These Vantage races seem to all be fuel mileage races, so we're gonna have to work on that. And I don't know. I hope to be in victory lane. Thanks to my wife. Thanks to my kids. For whatever reason, they don't even support me anymore. They're just like, "Yeah, Daddy's racing. Who cares? It's another race." Thank you to the Lord Jesus because I love Jesus with all my heart, soul, mind, and breath. And that's it, man. That's it. I'm just happy to be here. We're gonna go celebrate now.
Yeah, it's always great to hear. That is your race winner, Rick Raven.
Oh, wait, one more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
One more thing, Elliot. I just want to say hello to Rick Raven because I know he's out there watching this. Probably about a half an hour from now, he's going to be watching this. So, hi, Rick. You did it, baby. You did it. Okay, that's all. Sorry, Elliot.
That you did. Rick Raven, your winner here at Homestead. Congratulations to current Rick, and also congratulations there, future Rick, in a bit watching back this race. Good winning.
Thanks, buddy.
There.
I don't know what the point situation is like, but I know we took a hit last week at Long Beach.
Points situation, I think you're gonna, with the disappearance of Tom Minot, I think you are going to close in on on Larry Miles, the current points leader. Don't think you're gonna eclipse him there because of how that last race went, but it's gonna be
Yeah.
close.
The other thing is this, it's a very interesting season. I don't think I've ever been part of a league that ran the entire year. This season wraps up. I took a look at the schedule. It wraps up in December. So that's a long season, but it's going to be long. It's going to be interesting. You got a lot of competitive guys out there, and I look forward to my Saturday evenings now. And I'm glad you don't start too late because I got to get up at sometimes 3:30 in the morning, and it throws me off schedule. So 5 o'clock practice begins. And it's a beautiful thing for somebody like me. I love it. Thank God. Thank God.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, always great hearing from you.
Vantage.
Always great talking to you. And yeah, we'll see you next week here at the same track, but on the road course version.
All right, Elliot. Thanks very much. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. That is your race winner, Rick Raven, having an amazing reaction to that win. You can tell he really wanted it there. And just in case you're wondering, my co-commentator Daniel Michelle did have to step out before the interviews, so that's why I was running it solely. But thank you to him. Thank you to all the drivers running. Thank you, Todd Lee. Thank you, William Hightower, for adminning and race controlling this series while I commentate. Thank you to the audience, viewers who stayed for this race. Yeah, congratulations to Rick. Congratulations to Larry. Congratulations to Tyler. And that will do it here at VISL on the Homestead Oval. As I mentioned before, I'm Elliot Lang. Tune in next time for the Vantage Pro Series. That's going to be at Bristol this Thursday. Saturday early afternoon, you can see Formula America race at somewhere. I'm not entirely sure. I might be Homestead again. Similar support series for VISL racing on Saturday earlier in the day, and VISL, the Vantage Indy Special League, Saturday same time as always. This time on the Homestead road course, the road course B. So there will be some oval action still, but yeah, congrats to Rick and congrats to the whole field. I have been your host, Elliot Lang. Tune in to all other Vantage stuff, driver seat, Indy insights, some more content coming shortly. I can guarantee you that. V1 on Sundays. Very interesting to see how that all will play out. Yeah. Have a good night, everybody.